Hey, this is Jenny Jones, Digital Growth Hacks Club. What I wanted to do was give you a recap or a part two to my Prosp versus Closely. Now, Closely is back for a short time. I don't know how long they're going to be there. Prosp has been there for a while. And I ended up running the two head to head against each other. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Let me tell you what my observations was, right? So, you need a plugin for both, obviously. Actually, almost for any LinkedIn tool, you need a plugin to kind of help you pull down the different prospects and or people you want to research. Now, there's probably two other tools, well, three other tools that I think that are just hands down probably better than both of these tools combined. And I don't know that I'll ever see these tools again on AppSumo. One of them I've never seen on AppSumo. But let me tell you what I observed, which made the biggest difference to me. And I'll tell you, and I'll just kind of show you. Um, but in the recap, it's more of what Prosp did to me, what Prosp is lacking. I think it more than makes up for it for one particular feature that they have. And I gotta tell you, hands down, the best feature that they have is the voice recording feature. Hands down. I haven't seen any tool doing that. And those are kind of tools I'm looking for. So I have basically in my arsenal maybe 3 or 4 LinkedIn tools, but none of them does what Pros do with the voice recording. And now the way the voice recording works is you can have in your flow, hey, send a voice message to this person. I think to me, this is the most innovative thing that I've seen any tool do. So if you own Prosp or thinking about considering owning Prosp or on the fence about it, I think you should take a look at it for this mere feature only. I think you can do a lot of business. I think you can close a lot of business with this feature alone. So you don't need to max stack. So if we go, I'm going to go over to my computer. I'm going to just give you a good tier to be in at. But I found that hands down, when I went into Pros, I kind of looked at the setup and I was like, yeah, the UI is a little dated and some other things. They were just kind of getting it started. And then when you look at the UI, then you look it up against Closely, you're like, well, these two, I don't know if Prost will stand a chance. And Prost exceeded my expectations. Closely did exactly what I thought it would do. But I'm going to show you the difference in what Prosp did and how Prosp can really make a difference in your business. I will tell you one thing that before we go over my desktop, I will tell you one thing that I was a little disappointed in, and I'm still disappointed in, and hopefully they will get that fixed. And that is you have to operate in their time zone, but they don't give you any kind of warning, right? So when you're setting up your hours of operation, so one of the things is when you're inside of LinkedIn, you can't be logging in at 2 a.m. in the morning every day doing different. Because if I'm located in the West Coast, I can't be logging in at 2 a.m. every morning, going through liking people's profiles and sending them messages and all that. That's just not realistic. And you have to try to stay on the side of realistic anytime you deal with LinkedIn. And that was one of the things that turned me off because you can only operate, I think, in it's universal time zone, but you have to know that and then backdate your time to make it normal business hours on your end. Yeah, that was the one big disappointment that I saw. And I didn't even know. They didn't give me like a warning. Hey, they said it, but I was like, oh, well, they'll adjust for it. No, they didn't. They were sending out messages at 2 a.m. and things of that nature. So that was one thing that once I made that adjustment, then I was good to go. But I got to tell you, I was a little disappointed in that. Other than that, I mean, let's go over to the desktop and just show you some key things that I liked about both tools. But if I had to own both, or if I had to own one, if I had to own both, I would own at least like a tier 2 for Closely, and then maybe a tier 1 or 2 for Prosp. Right? I would own a combination of both. But if I had to own one, it would probably be Prosp, but it would be in limited use. I would only use it to reach out via voice. So let's go to my desktop. Let me close out this part 2 for you. All right. All right. So when we take a look over here at Prosp, and I'm going to show you the things like I said, but let's take a look at what they give you here, right? So one of the things I think it gives you that no other tool gives you is says it gives you, you can have multiple accounts, each with its own residential proxy, and enjoy a unified inbox. So I think that's beneficial. Again, I just think that this whole UI is so dated, right? But it works for what it does. So if you're not into the eye candy or anything like that, then it can benefit you well. So you can set up multiple accounts. So I think that's very powerful. So I just what I would not do, right? And this is just me. I don't know that I would more or less try to run an agency unless I really know what I'm doing. Definitely when it comes to a person's LinkedIn account, because the last thing you want to do is get their LinkedIn account banned, locked up, or suspended. Then all your credibility goes out the window. So I think the best place to be on this particular tool is a tier 2, right? And you can probably maybe do 1 or 2 more test accounts or something like that. The user seats are how many people can actually log in to the account, which I don't know the benefit of having unlimited user seats, but that's another story. The voice cloning, I don't even really know if you need the voice cloning. It's nice to have, but I think in this particular case, I actually think you can get away. Honestly, I think you can get away with a tier 1 just to experiment and use what you need to use it for, because you get unlimited AI personalization, unlimited campaigns, unlimited contacts, use your own proxies. You can get that with a tier 1. So you can really, if it's just for your account, you can get away with a tier 1 AI voice cloning. It's overrated, I think, in this particular case, and I'm going to show you the reason why here in a minute. But you can get away literally, with a tier 1, literally. So tier 2 is nice to have the ability to possibly do the voice cloning, but I don't know. I think the voice cloning helps you if you want to do bulk, but I think to grow a network of people that you kind of already know or have a contact with, I don't think the voice cloning really helps you. And I'll explain that here in a minute. I think depends on how you want to use this tool. If you want to use it for bulk and bulk outreach and cold outreach, you can definitely get away with maybe a tier 2 or maybe even a tier 3. I don't even know why you even get a tier 3 unless you wanted to get multiple accounts, right? If you wanted to get 10 accounts, I just think that's risky to me for this tool. I don't know this company enough to know that I would go and start trying to use it in bulk fashion. And it's from Paris, France. Definitely if you're located here in the US. So I just wouldn't, right? Now, with that being said, right, Closley has been around for a while. And when it comes to that, and I think I mentioned this in my first video, I trust them more when it comes to heavy usage, right, and bulk usage, but you only get one LinkedIn account. You'd have to go to a tier 4 or all the way up to a plan 8 to get 4 LinkedIn accounts, 4 email seats, right? So then you get more credits. So that would be the only time that I would I trust them more if I had to do that. The reason why I say that is because you get to choose your time zone, right? If you're going to be sending campaigns from this LinkedIn, let's say you have a person that you're working with and they live on the East Coast, but yet you live on the West Coast. You can train your contacts to go out on East Coast time, and then you can train their LinkedIn account to go on East Coast time, and then you can do yours on West Coast time. That's what I meant to say. So you can train each account to go out on its own, whereas Prosp, you can train each campaign to go under a different time zone, but it's universal. So you'd have to adjust the time. You only have to do it once, but it's a pain. I think it's a pain. I think we're so past that, right? So if I had to trust a company for bulk, if I had to trust a company for bulk, I'm trusting Closely because they've just done it, and they have these parameters built in. And I'm going to show you. I'm not going to get into a whole long drawn out video. I just want to show you some things that I think that are very, very good for each one of these tools. And you have to make the decision on your own. Obviously, use the link for the channel to support the channel so that I can continue to bring you these different breakdowns. Now, so let's look at Prosp, and let me show you what I meant by the time zones. Then I'm going to show you the success that I had with the audio. I've never had success like this in any type of outreach campaign as far as LinkedIn. I just haven't. And I'm just being honest with you. So I'm going to show you that here inside of Prosp. Then I'm going to show you one thing that I don't like about it. And then I'm going to show you Closely and some of the things that I like about Closely, right? And I will make this distinction very clear to you. Closely is a protector of your LinkedIn account. I know that for a fact. They've done it. They'll stop your campaigns. They'll pause them. Everything you can think of to have your LinkedIn protected. I've seen Closely do that firsthand. So let's go into Prosp. And I just haven't seen that yet with Prosp, and I think they'll eventually get there. So let's go inside Prosp and let's take a look at some of the things that I like. And then I'm going to show you some of the advances that I like. So inside Prosp, I've already started running a campaign. We did that on my last setup there. But what happens is when you go into the builder, right? This was the builder that I was running. This was the actual sequence I was running. It says, hey, you know what? Contact these 41 people from this actual LinkedIn post. Wait 1 day, visit their LinkedIn profile, like the last user LinkedIn post, wait 1 day, then send LinkedIn voice note, right? So basically what you're doing is you're trying to interact with the people who've last interacted with you or on your page. Even if you know them or you don't know them, right? So these are the analytics that I was able to garner and connect with here, right? LinkedIn requests, 5 replies, LinkedIn likes, LinkedIn conversations, accepted invites. But here's my challenge. Like I said, I have to go in. It says, set up your campaign hours to run actions only when you want them to run. Everything says UTC. I think that's universal time, something time zone. That's the time zone that you have. You can't go into each one and set up, hey, this is for your whole campaign. Anything coming out of my camp, anything coming out of Jenny Jones, hey, we're West Coast, we're going to set up. So what I literally had to do was I had to set up campaigns between 1500, which is 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. That's the universe. I had to go back and calculate that up. So I had to go in and do that. And here's the thing, and I'm going to show you where I didn't know that at first, and it almost cost me, right? And I think that is a fallacy here. And I think here they just say, hey, we're letting you know we only operate in UTC time zone only. No matter what time zone you're in, that's what we operate in. But here's the thing. I didn't know that. I just went in. I says, oh, here's the schedule. We recommend scheduling 7 hours per day. You could say that's my fault, but I've never seen a tool just do one time zone. No other tool does that. Prosp, that's a big miss on your part. But I had to go and then calculate the days backwards. It was really, really weird. And I'm going to show you, what happened as a result of that. That to me, so you can actually, if LinkedIn see you doing activity in a different time zone and they keep seeing you do that, they could get suspicious, right? And then they can shut you down, and then you have all kind of other problems. But if you're going to use this tool, just make sure you do that. They got to fix this, and I'm going to let them know, hey, that's not cool. They probably already know that, but do they care? I don't know. So let me show you how successful. So let me go back to the builder. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to send a LinkedIn voice note for all of those people. Now, one of the things that I noticed is I did not like the I did not like the clone voice. I tried to use it and I was going to use it. And I went back and listened. It just does not sound like me. It was it was a little bit spoke faster than the way I speak. And I just did not like it. Right. So I says, all right, I went in before this. Once it started the campaign, I went in, deleted that voice note and went back and uploaded my own. The power in that was and I'm going to show you the results of that. I'm telling you, this was to me, I consider this a very successful campaign because I'm going to show you the reason why. All right, so let me go over to my computer and then we're going to talk about Closley a little bit. I think having a mixture of both, you don't even have to have a high tier of both, just having a little piece of both puts you in a better position. Now, one of the things I decided to do with my LinkedIn is, let me show you something else. This is crazy. Hold on. Before I show you my success, let me show you something else about LinkedIn. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you about my LinkedIn, right? I have LinkedIn. I have Waalaxy plugin, I have Closley plugin, and I have Prosp plugin. Now, the way I've used this is I have 3 different plugins and I use the email feature from each one, right? So let me explain. They all use one LinkedIn account, which is my LinkedIn account. But I have them doing different prospecting from each different account. I have one more. Let me show you the one more that I have. Give me 1 second here. So I have one more that's break cold. So I use Closley, break cold, Waalaxy, and like we just said, I also use Prosp. Now, what you're going to find different things. So say, for instance, if I go to this person's contact, right, I'm going to find a couple of things here, right? I'm going to find opportunity for them I can use Waalaxy to email them. I can use break cold sync to start following them and their actions that they do. I can use prospect to generate a message. I can use, and then I can use my actual Closley here. So there's different ways. I think they all have different pros and cons, but Waalaxy kind of gets up into your business, right? So let me give you an example. I don't want to make this about Waalaxy, but they all do something different. It's like you almost need for LinkedIn, you kind of need a different tools to do different things because they all have their different strengths. The reason why I use so many is because they all are managing from a different email address. So if I wanted to email people from here, then I'm using my real estate email address because I'm matching with Waalaxy there. And then if I'm using Closley, I'm using my educational one. So I can email from each one of those. And how do I keep up with all those? Obviously, I use my Lift OS. Another shout out to them. But I use those types of tools to kind of help me manage that. My break sync, my break cold sync, I'm using that for my SaaS use case TV emails. So these are all email campaigns. The reason why I have 4 is I have 4 different email campaigns. I can manage them all on LinkedIn and through the appropriate channels here. But the best part about each one of those is I can do them in different. Now you can use Prosp. You can say, hey, I'll just email everyone from there. Yeah, I just got that. I don't know if I want to do that, but I want to manage them each one. So I want to manage them separately. All right. So let me show you what I discovered with the Prosp, because this is about Prosp. So let me show you what I discovered. All right, so let's take a look what happened here, right? So what happened is once we get to when I was inside of Prosp and I started sending out the voice messages, because again, I had to visit their profile. I had to like one of their comments, and then I had to send a voice message, right? Again, all familiar activity you would make if you're going, because they know when you like their content, they know when you like their content or something like that. So when what I'm sending you is what the successful messages did. So this particular one I sent out 8-second message, right? An 8-second message. Hey, it's been a while. Let's go ahead and connect. Seeing you doing big things. Let's connect. Let's reconnect. It was something very casual like that. and I left it in my own voice. Now I did that in bulk. I did that for every single person that I reached out to. It says, hey, it's been a while. Let's connect, and I said it to everybody. It's always the case when you're trying to link up on LinkedIn. You haven't spoke to people in a while. To hear a voice message is very pleasant. So this particular person came here and says, hey, you know what? Hey, it has been a time. Let's find some time. It has been a while. Let's find some time to catch up. Then they sent their calendar link back to me, right? That worked out well. And again, it's the whole 8-second message. It went out at 6:07 p.m. They responded same day, 7:45, about an hour and a half later, right? So then look at this one. That's one message, right? So then here's another one. This one went out same day, went out at 5:00 p.m. Got a response less than an hour later. It says, hey, yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, let's connect. It says, oh, it's very good to hear your voice, is what they said. They says, hey, man, it's very good to hear your voice. Haven't spoke to you in a while, but I hear your voice. Boom, 7-second message back. And so that went well, right? And so you're seeing how the voice messages, there's something different, right? If a person took time out to send your voice message, that's saying a lot. That's why I think Prosp is really, they're headed somewhere with this. I'm hoping that they just only get better. The cost to own it is very, very low to me. So again, you can get away with a tier 1 with Prosp, right? So let's come here. Let's take a look at this one. So again, this was a reach out that I did here. So what they said, and this is a very busy person, right? They're like, dude, what's up? So I sent them a message. Hey, Jenny, so nice to hear from you. I hope things are going fabulous. Yes, let's catch up soon. So these are the voice messages, that you get back from people. You're like, oh, wow, they actually responded. So I got a couple of those, right? And the next one I show you, they're not on LinkedIn a lot, and it may be the reason why I didn't get a message back. But again, this went out at 7:58 p.m., something like that. So let's go back through them. That went out at 8 p.m. This one went out at 5 p.m. And then this one went out at 6 p.m. Now, let me show you this one. So this one went out at 1 a.m. in the morning, and this is one of the first ones that went out. And I was a little taken back. I was like, what the heck? And I looked at it and I was like, oh, this sent out. This is what triggered me to go back in the system and to change the time frames, because I'm sending out, again, their LinkedIn is like, wait, what is this dude doing sending out messages 1 a.m. in the morning? And I had to get that corrected. And it kind of frustrated me because my account could have been in jeopardy, me not knowing it and sending out this in bulk, doing all these messages at 1 a.m. So again, the same message went out. I haven't heard back from this person. They're not on LinkedIn that much, but I don't know that I'll probably hear back from them. I probably will once they eventually get on, but they're not on LinkedIn that much. So, but I just wanted to show you, I sent the same message, but it went out at 1 a.m. before I made the change to the account. So this is something I didn't know, and I'm just letting you know that if you have an opportunity to do that. So to me, this is a success for Prosp. Now, I have to give them the propers on that. Closely, it is what it is. It does what it does. It's very good at what it does. So I had no problems with that. Did a good job at that. All right. So now let's look at, so I showed you that. So let's look at one of the things that Closely does well. Let's take a look at that, because Closely is no slouch, right? All right, so let's take a look at it. All right, so now let me tell you the number one reason why you need a Closely, right? So not only does Closely protect you, but Closely allows you the ability to not only connect with people on LinkedIn, gives you the ability to email them as well if they have email accounts. That's the reason why I said I use different ones, use different tools for different reasons. So you can't email from Prosp yet, and that may be something they're working on. I don't know. I haven't gotten into the details, but I think to me, Prosp is a good tool to kind of set the stage and kind of reconnect with people you haven't in a while, or just people that are in your LinkedIn atmosphere. But what Close is going to allow you to do is to reach out to them, right? You're going to reach out to them and you can email them. That can be part of your sequence as well. I'm not going to get into all of that right here, but you can have an account here, and it really depends on how many accounts that you set up here. So let me give you an example. So let's go back here. So let's go back to Closley here. So you can have different email seats, right? So you can have email seats, meaning, hey, how many email accounts can you actually have, right? So yeah, it's very important if you want to have more than one email seat, or you want to be able to email from more than one brand or something like that, then you're going to have the different email seats. So I didn't have a large seat when this first came out. I only had, I think, a plan 4 around there, and I have like 2 email seats. Actually, I think I have a plan 3. I have a plan 3. It's all changed since then. I paid less than $100 for it. I got it so long ago. I think I got it 3 years ago, and I only have 1 email seat. Now, what you could do is, if you want to, depends on why you pick this up, but if you're going to want to run it from multiple brands, then you can still connect with these people, then send them emails. Some of your sequences will say, hey, send from this email address or send from that email address. So that's just one way. I mean, I think Closley does a good job of allowing you can just send a LinkedIn campaign, or you can send a LinkedIn campaign and an email campaign combo together. It says, hey, LinkedIn, everything did well. And then what you could do is you can use your Prosp in between the campaigns, and then your Prosp could say, hey, I'm going to reach out to you via email. Look for my email, right? And then you can run your Prosp. You can run this, and you can just say, hey, reach out. Then start your Prosp the next day and say, hey, I'm going to reach out to you. Hey, it's been a while. I'm going to connect with you. I'm going to look for my email address. And you send that via your Prosp voice message, I think, which would be a nice combination. Then you send an email from here like 2 days later to send that out. Yeah, I think just mixing them both together, not needing a whole bunch from both, but just kind of put it on slow cooker and you kind of do that. So this, I think, is a very, very good feature. Let's look and see how the LinkedIn would work. The way the LinkedIn would work is you would come here, you'd select the people, locations, professional services, SaaS development is what I was looking for. They need to be in a certain area. I would just hit export here, or export with emails. So if I export with emails, it's going to automatically pull them in to Closley with the emails. So Closley does that. Waalaxy has about 30 recipes you can do. That's another story. They're on AppSumo maybe 3-4 years ago. That's just a hard tool to keep up with. They've done it, and they've done it so well. So you can get yourself in a lot of trouble on Waalaxy as well. But Closley is the only one that really protects you like that. So that's the way you do that. And so you do your export with emails, and it's going to pull it down. Then you go into your Closley and you run a campaign with those emails in the same context. Very, very, very powerful tool. I think Break Close does a pretty good job of following up with people, having them separate on their own timelines. Again, another tool that was on AppSumo, and it's beyond the scope of this, but I just wanted to let you know that that's something that you can actually do. And so you have your Closley here, you have your Waalaxy, you have your Prosp here. Yeah, you can do a lot of different things here. All right, so hopefully this was helpful just to kind of give you an idea. My recommendation is to look at a Prosp, and I wouldn't even look at nothing really past a tier 3. I can probably get away, depends on how you're going to use it, right? You can do bulk here, and you can do the voice cloning. You can do a lot of damage here with a lot of accounts. You could do that. You can go here, you can go 10 accounts, and you can do that. Or if you're just doing it yourself and maybe one other client, I don't think you need anything past a tier 1, just the way this deal is structured. But depends on what you're going to get, and if you're going to upgrade or something like that. I think maybe a tier 2 is a good, you can settle on a tier 2. Closely is really going to depend on how many email seats you want and how many people you want to email monthly, right? I think mine's is $87. I don't even think they have it available anymore. Like I said, I think it's between a plan 3 and a plan 4. It's like a 3.5 plan, and I think it cost me $87. It was something really ridiculous, and they don't even have that anymore. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would get maybe a plan 2 here, because I can do unlimited messages over on the Prosp. I would go to plan 2 here, which is $138 if I'm not going to use the email seats. And then I would come to, that's $138. Then I come here and get the $89. You can get best of both worlds for, under $200 instead of buying one into one, and you don't have the range that you need. So, hey, this has been Jenny Jones. Hopefully this was helpful. I don't know there's a clear winner. I think you really need to own a little piece of both. But if I wanted to do bulk, just bulk, just banana bulk, then I would go with Prosp. But don't look for a lot of protection if you get into trouble and you start doing a lot of LinkedIn. If you want protection, you don't do this that often, you haven't been able to do that, let me show you what they do, the limitations inside of Closley. Let me show you that real quick. Oh, really quick, this is your integrations. So you have HubSpot, you have Webhook, Pipedrive, Zoho, High Level, and Connect. In Salesforce, right? So that's what you have here for Closley. Let's look and see what you have here for Prosp. Let's take a look at that one. And for Prosp, you only have HubSpot, right? You only have HubSpot, and I think you can do webhooks as well. So it's not bad. You can at least do webhooks too as well. But let's take a look at the protection that's built in Closley. All right, so we're over here back in Closley, and this is what I meant by it really protects you, because they tell you what your limits are. They says, hey, listen, set the number of connection requests per day. I think mine is pretty low here. I have 10 a day. I'm not a heavy user of LinkedIn, but you can set the number. It says, hey, don't set this no higher than 70. Don't set the amount of messages you send a day. Don't send that more than 80. Profile visits, don't set that more than 100. They're basically giving you your cap, because they will let you know, because you can switch this to warm-up mode. Warm-up mode is they incrementally do it, right? They'll say, hey, for the first month, we'll do 10 connection requests. And then maybe for the second month, we'll go to 30 connection requests. So that's what they have in warm-up mode. And it kind of stagnates it, almost stair steps it to do that. So there you go. Changing your settings can lead to LinkedIn's concern about your actions in this account. So I have mine off because I don't even want to max the minimums. I just want mine's really, really low. So I overrode it here in this particular instance, but you can, so this is 10, 4, 10, 5, 8, 13. Let me see what happened. So you can do that here. It stair steps it. It warms it up. It goes 20 connections per day, 50 messages per day, 60. And the way it starts here, it goes here, it does 5, then it does 10, then it goes up to 20 over a period of 5 over time. So from April through May, or over a month, it ramps up to that. That's what I'm saying. Closely gives you this protection. It's built in so you don't harm yourself, right? And I really, really like that. And it's letting you know likes per day. One other thing they have, you can endorse a person's skill as well. No, I've seen no other tool do that, where you can endorse a person's skill, and you can find emails per day. So they ramp you up. Hey, you can do 20 a day through the 18th. On the 23rd, you can do 25, and then we'll go a couple of weeks, and then you can go up to 35. But the max we're recommending, this is close, is you can do no more than 40 emails per day. We're not going to let you hurt yourself. A lot of people get out here, they're doing 100 a day. They're doing just something ridiculous, right? So that's what happens. So I'm going to cut this back off. And the reason why I cut it off is because mine is less. I don't even do that many. And so that's the beauty of Closley. I think that's an advantage that this particular tool has. Outside of doing that and doing the actual emails, to have those included in your campaigns, I think that's awesome. I think Prosp is really, they do one thing very well, and that's the voice. The hands down, I haven't seen the voice do anything like that. So that's my part 2. Hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Comment below if you want to see more of these. There's some tools that are out there. If I have one person asking for me to do something, that's more difficult. If other people double down, others say, yeah, let's do that. But I'm just too busy to do it for one particular person. If there's a demand for that, and if both tools are still here, then more than likely I probably will do it or get around to it. If one tool is gone, they haven't come back, and there's no way they'll probably come back, then it's unfair to people to say, well gosh, that tool's never going to come back. But Closley's here, Prosp is here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And again, it's not personal. It's just I kind of got to give to what the masses really wants. Unless you're involved in one of my inner commercial, one of my inner communities, or your Hackpack 4 and you're part of my community, because being a Hackpack 4, you can be part of my community. You can ask me and I can just do something, or I can just tell you something, or the entire community. We'll just look at something. I'll have a breakout session and we'll just look at something. But I do that all the time. But if you just here, you don't subscribe, you just come and just look at certain videos or whatever, that means you really don't have vested skin in the game. I notice a lot of people do that. But if you really want to get involved, really want to get my feedback, my personal opinion, you have to be involved in the channel, and you have to be part of the community. Hope you guys enjoy this. Guys, take care. Goodbye for now.